You have to give yourself permission. And I think with everything, you have to give yourself permission because no one's out there going, you are now an actor, you are now an entrepreneur, you are now whatever. You just have to take it on and do it.
Is there a time in your past where you started writing from not? Like, have you always, like some people have always journaled or what have you, and it's just evolved, or was it something that really wasn't part of your world and then it began through a conscious decision of some sort?
I've always journaled. I've got boxes of yellow paper, just stories and ideas and just my daily life. And then I hooked into Julie Cameron, The Artist's Way, which is a beautiful sort of journaling technique, which is just get your morning thoughts out, get rid of the rubbish, and then you can start to write. Looking back, I've always written, not professionally. I never destined for those things to be published. But then one of the first documents that made a massive impact on my career was I was working in advertising, as I mentioned, and I saw this job ad in the newspaper, right? Sydney Morning Herald, tiny when job ads were in the paper. And it was for this Harry M. Miller role, and it was the job of the lifetime, right? And I went for it, and I wrote a little proposal about Gough Whitlam, which was one of his clients at the time, who's sadly passed. But, I wrote how I would market Gough Whitlam. So I wrote this comprehensive proposal on how I would promote Gough. And then I got the job. And when I asked Harry why I got it, he said, because of that proposal, you went the extra mile. So for me, those opportunities to use words to add value and to provide someone with an extra, benefit really made a big difference. And then in advertising, obviously, it's all about the writing. Even though I wasn't a copywriter in the advertising world, I was an account director. So you're more the management strategy side. I always looked at the creatives going, oh, I wish I could do what they're doing, but they seemed so remote, and it was like, vaunted, worlds of the creatives. And then I had to make the mental shift. I'm going to step into that world, because I wanted to be that. And then a friend of mine, and I've told this story to my students a lot, but had this very sort of strong mental block about, I'm not a copywriter, I'm not a writer, I don't have the authority to call myself a writer, or a copywriter in particular. And I talked to this friend of mine called John, who was this advertising agency owner, and he did everything. It was like a small boutique, and he wrote and he directed and he, managed. I said, how do you, do both? He says, well, I just decided to. And he said, what do you need to become a writer? Who's going to anoint you a writer? And he said, I anoint you a writer today. And it was kind of like, I'm a writer. So you have to give yourself permission. And I think with everything, you have to give yourself permission because no one's out there going, you are now an actor, you are now an entrepreneur, you are now whatever. You just have to take it on and do it.